names, but hello everyone. So we will get started in couple of minutes. Let's wait for some more people to join. Hi Zai. Yes, hope I am audible and visible to everyone. I'm also going to share my share a presentation. So yeah, anybody has any question? Please ask. You can unmute and ask. Someone has raised their hand. It says 1 plus someone. Hi Jaya Lakshmi, how are you? Hello everyone. So we wait for another minute. Prashant, I'll start after a couple of minutes, right?
Yeah. Maybe at 7:32 we can start.
Okay.
Yeah. Okay. Yeah, I think we can start now.
Okay. So good evening, everyone, and I welcome you all to the presentation today, the webinar today on 4 pillars of sustainable weight loss. So I'm Sai Bapat, and I know some of you, and some of you I'll get to know through this presentation. So let me just briefly introduce myself. So I'm working as a yoga teacher, plant-based nutritionist, and health coach for the last 10 years. And before that, I used to work in IT as a software professional for another 10 years, right? So I keep conducting such webinars because health and fitness is my passion. And thanks to Parmesan for giving me this platform and opportunity to share what I like the most. Okay, so today's topic is 4 pillars of sustainable weight loss. Now, instead of saying weight loss, we can also say that how to maintain sustainable optimum weight. It need not be weight loss. For some of us, we may be struggling to gain weight. right? So for both the things, if we want to achieve the optimum weight of our body, what are those 4 things that we need to focus on? So that is today's agenda. Before I begin, I just want to tell you that if you have any questions at any point of time, please keep noting them, because let us take them at logical intervals. So I will start by explaining what are the fat diets and why they fail, and then I'll directly get into the topic, which is 4 pillars of sustainable weight loss. Right. And at the end of it, I'll open the forum for question and answers. Right. So at that time, when I ask you, you can start typing your messages, or you can just unmute and ask your questions. I'm planning to finish my sharing in 50 to 55 minutes, and then we have all the time for the question and answer sessions, right? I hope I'm audible and visible to everyone. I request everyone to be on mute. Okay, I'm not going to do hard mute here. And if you feel the need, some pressing question arises in your mind which you cannot hold till end of the session, please type it, and I'll try to answer it, right? So let's get started. I'm also going to share a presentation, but before that, we all know that weight loss is a million or billion-dollar industry nowadays, and we are seeing that they are promoting superfoods every other day. Some other product is coming in the market, or some diet plans are being promoted which focus on single macronutrient most of the times, right? What is one common thing in all these weight loss industry promoted diet plans? One thing which is common is they don't work. Okay, they don't work, at least in the long run. Maybe in the short term they may be giving you some results, but in the long run they fail to give us results, and we are unable to sustain that particular diet plan or superfood or whatever products they are available in the market, right? So that's why today we are trying to understand what are those sustainable changes that we can make. It is not a diet plan, it is not a short term goal that we are trying to achieve, but it's a lifestyle change which will take us to maintaining the sustain optimum weight as per our body type and as per the height, right? So that is the agenda. Let us start by seeing why these diet plans fail, or what are the fad diets and why they fail. So let me share my screen. Okay, why fad diets fail? There are n number of diet plans or diets available nowadays, and I have also tried some of them, okay, few years back. Why do they fail? Because they are not nutritionally balanced. Most of them, the diet plan, if it is focusing on one single macro, okay, what are macros? Carbohydrates, protein, or fat. If it is focusing on a single macro, it is bound to fail because it cannot give you complete nutrition, right? The second reason is because they ask you to eat unusual food or unnatural food. For example, keto diet, for example, egg white diet, cabbage soup diet. Okay, it is unnatural to drink coconut oil coffee in the morning, right? It is not very natural. Our body naturally, the instinct is not there to eat 85% of the fat or any other diet plan that you take. Some of these diet plans ask us to control the portion size, and there itself it fails, right? Unless we are satisfied with the food that we are consuming, unless we feel full and we get that satisfaction, we cannot continue that particular diet plan, right? Or some of these diet plans ask us to eat same food day after day. For example, egg white diet. I have worked with people who were eating 7 to 8 times only egg whites in order to lose the weight. And then, of course, they could not sustain. They got into a lot of other issues, which we will discuss later, right? And that's the reason, because of all these reasons that I have listed above, the plan is not for everyone in the family. Obviously, we cannot ask children in our house or elderly people in our house to eat such food, which is unnatural, where you are controlling the portion size and which is focusing on one single macronutrient. What I am going to propose today is exactly opposite to all these points mentioned. It is completely 100% balanced. all the nutrients are covered. It is nothing unusual. In fact, we are going to stick to the most natural food we are evolved to digest, right? We are not going to control any portion size. We are not going to count calories or control the portion size. And we are not expected to eat same food day after day. In fact, lot of variety is what we look into and we look for when we follow this diet, right? Not the diet, the lifestyle change. And that's the reason it is for everyone in the family, irrespective of the age group. And because it is for everyone in the family, that's why it is totally sustainable, right? I have not gone into the details of all these fad diets. If you have any particular questions, park them right now and ask me later at the end of the presentation. So now let's get started. First thing, before I get into the topic of 4 pillars, understand that weight is not the accurate indicator of health. Okay, weight is just a side effect of what is happening in your body. We know that a person who is thin or slim, okay, he need not be healthy, and vice versa, right? So instead of looking at weight loss as an objective, why can't we look at improving health as an objective? Because that is much more sustainable and beneficial for us, right? Now, if weight is not the accurate indicator of health, what is the accurate indicator of health? In Nature Cure, we have very interesting 10 signs of health, we call, which is nothing but indicators of health. And now when I'm going to read these signs one by one, I want you to check in your mind, do you have this sign of health or not, right? So by end of this slide, we all will have our scorecard. Out of 10, how many points you get? Okay, let's see. Feeling of well-being. How are you feeling now? Are you feeling holistically healthy? Are you feeling good in your body, good in your mind, cheerful? Okay, so how are you feeling today? That determines whether you have health or not. Timely, effortless elimination of waste. How is your elimination of waste? Is it timely, on time, regularly, and is it effortless? It is most important thing is effortless. Now here elimination of waste doesn't mean that only bowel movement, emptying the bowels, but through all the channels that our body has, through sweat, and urine, and through breathing, and so many other channels through which we eliminate waste. Is it timely and effortless? Are you experiencing keen hunger at any point of time? Are you getting really hungry? Even if I give you a bowl of spinach or carrot or cucumber, are you going to eat it? Is that level of hunger have you ever experienced? Right? How is your sleep? Are you experiencing deep sleep? How to figure out? It doesn't depend on number of hours you sleep, but it depends upon when you wake up in the morning, next day morning, how do you feel? Are you feel cheerful and fresh enough to start your day? Okay, do you have cheerful mind? Are you ready to take on all different challenges every day we face? Are you feeling ready for it, willing and ready? Fit body doesn't mean that zero figure or your weight is according to BMI. Fit body means absence of chronic ailments, back pain, neck pain, arthritis, diabetes, high blood pressure. All these are just symptoms that our health has gone down. So do you have fit body? If needed, can you sit still at one point? Okay, still at one place, at least for 5 minutes, can you do that? And if needed, can you sprint a 50 meters distance, right? Both these things indicate that you have fit body. Absence of laziness. How many times in a day do you ask people, please pass me that newspaper, please give me a glass of water or something like that? Okay, are you getting into that pattern or that mode? And then how are your movements when you move around? Okay, are they very rigid? Sometimes people walk around with shoulders drop down, or there is tension on the face. When you are in that complete health, your movements will be very graceful. And the last point is equal distribution of heat throughout the body. This is a very important indicator. Whenever we experience any imbalance or any pain, temperature at that particular site, a particular part of the body goes up. So that's the reason we may get fever, or sometimes our feet become cold and head becomes hot. So all these are signs of less health, right? So what is your score? How many points you got from the science of health. And if you think that you have not got 10 out of 10, then you know that to whatever weight you want to achieve, it can be reduction in the weight, it can be increase in the weight. We have to focus on improving our health, because body can heal itself, right? Body is not a static organism, it is a dynamic machine. Every time, every day, what are we exposing ourselves to directly affects how our body is. And that's the reason we say that in 365 365 days in 1 year, we are a new body itself. If that is the case, we just have to focus on controlling the right environment that we give our body, right? So what is this right environment? Am I going too fast? Please let me know. If okay, I can reduce the speed. If all is well, then let me get started. Okay, so what is this right environment? And this right environment is going to give us 4 pillars of maintaining optimum weight of our body, right? So if you say our lifestyle or Jeevan Shaili, what we call in Hindi or Marathi, Ahar. What is ahar? Ahar means food. Okay. The inputs that we give to our body is called as ahar. Then vihar means movement. Okay. It is not only movement, but it is even taking rest. And third is vichar, means our thoughts. So it is extremely important to work on keeping this environment right. Now you can't suddenly change everything, right? So step by step, if you start working on your food, if you start working on your movement, and if you start working on your thinking. Now thinking is the most important dimension, if you ask me, right? So I have divided these 3 things, the right environment, into 4 buckets. Eat right. Now this eat right doesn't mean what you eat, only what you eat for breakfast, lunch and dinner. That is just 1/5 part of it. In nature cure, we know that our body is made up of 5 elements, right? Pancha Mahabhutas. How many of you know what are Pancha Mahabhutas? So Prithvi means earth, Aap means water, Tej means fire, air and space. We consume food from all these 5 elements. If we can regulate all these 5, the food consumption from all these 5 elements, then that comes under eat right. Move right. Now many of us move around, or many of us do excess movement sometimes, but how is the movement? Is it mindful? I'm going to explain each and every dimension in detail as we go forward. In Vihar itself, there is rest, right? Because rest is at most important when we are looking at weight loss specifically. Okay, how are you resting? Is it enough? And are you experiencing quality sleep or quality rest? And then think right. What are you thinking every day, day in and day out? How are your thoughts? Are they draining on your vitality? Are they causing stress in you? Are they causing secretion of stress hormones? All that we will see in the next slides. Right? So basically 4 pillars of maintaining sustainable weight is eat right, move right, rest right, think right. Now we are going to see in detail, okay, each and every parameter. Any questions till now? If all is good, can you please type something in the chat box? Shall I continue? Maybe just type yes. So I know that. Thank you so much. Thank you, Rupa. Thank you, Anubha. Thank you, Priya. Okay, fine. So let's start with eat right. Okay, before that, now I witness these testimonials every day as a part of my work, being a health coach, as I help people get to their weight, whatever is their goal, reach that weight. But understand that this doesn't happen overnight. It takes time. For example, in Pallavi's case, she took 3 months after she completed coaching with me to get the result. And coaching is nothing different. I'm going to explain everything here. Okay, eat right, how she worked on all these 4 parameters, and finally she could achieve her weight, which she was not able to reduce her weight for 15 years. Okay, after gaining it. Let's see how it happens. So when it comes to eat right, What we means what nature cure proposes is, it is called as whole foods plant-based diet. Let me explain it to you, each word of this term. Whole means complete, sampurna. Okay, no part, no good part is removed and no bad part is added. That is the simple definition. And this food which is coming from plants, so we stay away from all the animal products, right? I don't have to list the animal products: meat, eggs, dairy, and all other things that come in dairy, right? So we stay away from animal products, but we choose food from the plants, which is in the whole form. Now, what happens? How it helps in weight loss? First of all, whenever we consume whole food, it is full of fiber. It is live food. Now, what is live food? I am going to explain. And of course, you cannot consume excess fat if you are following whole food plant-based diet. Nature cannot give us excess fat, okay, whenever we are consuming natural resources. Let's start by understanding what is live food. Food with life. Anything that nature has to offer, say a fruit, a vegetable, grain, seed, nuts, everything, nature gives us all the nutrition packed in three buckets. It has nutrients, macronutrients, micronutrients, vitamins, minerals, proteins, fats, carbohydrates. On top of that, it has fiber or roughage, and then it has water. Now, whenever we process anything that nature has to offer by chopping, cutting, juicing, dehydrating, steaming, cooking, either one of these things we are going to lose, or sometimes all the three things we lose, right? When we make potato chips from potatoes, now potato is excellent source of food if we consume it with the peel in the steamed form. It has nutrients, fiber, water. When we convert it into potato chips, fiber is lost, temperature sensitive vitamins means life is lost, and of course water is lost. So what we end up eating is dead food. Food without life, food without those life enzymes are extremely difficult on our gut, and they really make us sluggish, less energetic. On top of that, they lack fiber. So generally demand on insulin goes up. I will explain it to you later how excess insulin demand can result in weight gain, right? That's why it is very important to stick to food with life. That's why we call it as whole food. And only plant products are full of micronutrients, vitamins and minerals when these plants are in the live or natural form, okay, not after making it dead. What happens with fiber? Okay, let us try to understand what is this fiber and why everyone is talking about fiber. For example, this is example of a wheat grain. Everything that nature has, the outer layer, generally the outer covering is called as bran or the peel of fruits and vegetables. 40 to 70% of the micronutrients are packed in that outer layer. But what we do, we remove it and we throw it. Even if you are buying Ashirvad or any other brand atta, whole wheat atta from the mall, which has expiry date of 6 months, I can guarantee you that they have removed the bran and they have removed the germ, the inside part, which has essential fatty acids. Because if you don't remove germ, the fat inside that, in the wheat grain, it's going to make it rancid in 2 months. There is no way you can use that atta for 6 months, right? So it is extremely important to keep the fiber intact and consume your plant-based sources. Because as we increase fiber, of course, we cannot overeat because fiber is not digested in the stomach. It goes still intestine. And that's the reason we feel very full, because it is still in the stomach in the undigested form. We can't get hungry often. So overeating is avoided. If there is if fiber is less, then there is more demand on insulin. And secondary effect of insulin is anabolic hormone. Body goes in storage mode and not usage mode. So whatever you consume, if there is excess insulin around, you are going to increase weight because body, and that's the reason metabolic rate goes down. So it is extremely important to have food with fiber. So let's see. Now you will tell me if this is what we do generally. Okay. Let me tell you the power plate. Typically, this is the power plate that we propose. Okay. If you take your cooked meal, when I say cooked meal, it can be your breakfast, lunch, or dinner. You divide your plate into 4 parts. 1/4 part comes from raw veggies, 1/4 part from steamed veggies, 1/4 part from grains, 1/4 from legumes. Now you may think that this is what I am eating every day. I am eating dal, rice, chapati, sabzi. So what's new in this? What is new is what are the ingredients you are using and how are you cooking it? Okay, so when you are going to consume raw vegetables, you are not going to peel them. Even fruits, you are not going to peel them. You are going to consume them whole with minimal processing. So raw veggies, you can soak them 30 to 40 minutes in salt water, and then you can have it. If you are getting it organically from farmers, then we don't have to worry of that, right? Steamed vegetables, again, no peeling, and you are not going to boil your veggies for hours or for 10, 15, 20 minutes till all the nutrients are getting killed in that. We are going to turn off the stove in 2 minutes. And how can we do that? First, you steam the vegetables in the steamer 7 to 8 minutes, so they are almost just enough cooked, and then you just give tadka, right? So you don't have to cook the vegetables in open vessel where all the nutrients are getting lost. How are you going to consume grains? Grains, unpolished, minimally processed, unrefined. That means we are not going to run behind brown rice or red rice. It has to be unpolished rice. It can be white also. Okay, but no bran is removed. Hand pounded is better than polished rice. Okay, then legumes, dals, and all the dals and legumes like chickpeas, rajma, black chana, moong, if possible, sprout them. Okay, only then the nutrition is going to get easily bioavailable nutrition. Our body can digest easily, right? So you won't be experiencing gassiness or bloating if you are consuming legumes this way. And then to make all these things, you may use some nuts and seeds. Because what is the real oil source? Real oil source is nuts and seeds. In India, what is the local and locally available seasonal oil sources? If you're in North India, you can get gingerly oil, mustard oil, South India, coconut oil, Maharashtra, Gujarat, peanut oil, right? So you can keep changing these oils. We don't have to go for olive oil. It's a fruit. Okay, why can't we eat olive as it is? Right? So we stick to those nuts and seeds either in the whole form or cold press oil form. So this is how the cooked food plate is going to look like if you are going to follow eat right, whole food, plant-based diet. Let me just check the time. Okay. Right. So any questions still here? If you have any particular questions, if you want to see, these are at a broader level. If you consume whole food plant-based diet, you are sorted. But there are some finer rules. If you apply it, you will get better results. Like when exactly to eat food, how to mix raw and cooked, how not to eat, how much to consume. So all these finer rules, if you take care of, but at broader level, it is whole food plant-based diet. Right? So this is what eat right is all about. You don't have to control your portion size if you are making sure that the proportion in your plate is maintained. What does that mean? 1 part from grains, 1 part from legumes, and 50% from the vegetables. Right? Can sprouts be cooked? Mekhala is asking. Yes, you can cook sprouts, but if you want to get the live enzymes in it, at least 2 tablespoons of sprouts, try to train your body to eat them in the raw form. Only 2 tablespoons. You don't have to eat bowl of raw sprouts. Our body cannot handle it nowadays, right? And we don't need it in that much amount. So that was all about eat right component. I'll take all the questions at the end. Okay. Shall I move further to the move right part of it? Okay, please keep writing your questions. I will answer them at the end of the session. Let's come to the next pillar. Okay, how movement helps in weight loss. Now, I don't have to tell anybody, any of you, the importance of movement. All of us know that we should move, right? That we should do exercise. So I'm not going to read these reasons. We all know that, it reduces stress, it helps to regulate sleep, and then dopamine. So feel good without any junk, because we can get addicted to exercise. It is a good type of addiction. Okay. And then it expels toxins. The problem arises when you are not able to consistently move, right? The main challenges I see is consistency in that moving right. Now let us try to understand why are we not able to be consistent in our exercise. Main reason is you don't like it. Many people, and I'm making a very generic statement, if you are unable to do anything consistently, the reason can be you are not enjoying that activity. You are doing it because somebody else has told you go to gym and run on treadmill. It's not very interesting thing to run on treadmill in that closed gymnasium area, right? Like most people don't enjoy, but they do just for the sake of doing it. So first important thing in moving right is find out activity which you enjoy and you try to get some company. Okay, don't do it alone. Take your health buddy along. Find out a friend who stays in the same apartment complex and start doing that activity. It can be running, jogging, dancing, Zumba, Pilates, any dynamic activity. If it is open air, that is the best thing you can do. You can go for cycling, swimming, running in the open air also. But choose the activity that you enjoy and it may change. This month you may enjoy running, next month maybe you want to go for swimming. So be flexible. Don't get stuck with that idea that I have to burn 800 calories or 400 calories every hour. Only then I'm going to lose weight. No, that is not the idea at all. If you are going to eat right, then move right is only 25%, right, in this whole journey. So you don't have to do some you don't have to do a lot of exercise or exertion that is going to take you into some injuries, and then you may stop that activity in between. That is the thing I have seen in my work also, that people generally they choose something which is too difficult. So choose activity which is enjoyable, which is not very comfortable also, little challenging, and which feels you motivated and you feel good after doing that activity. If you are feeling tired, I know people, they go to the gym and after coming back they are like dead. They just lie down for something. That is not the type of exercise we are looking at, right? And then being a yoga teacher, not only because of that, but all of us now know that the importance of yoga or yoga routine in our exercise. You have to include 2 to 3 hour days per week yoga routine. Why? Because all the other things that you do, okay, all the other things are going to compress your muscles. Everything, starting from walking, running, gymming, dancing, everything is going to compress. And if you don't give the opportunity to stretch that muscle, then you are going to end up having some or the other pain. Many people start with knee pain. There is nothing wrong with their knee. The thing is, the muscles which are connecting to the knee, they have become tight. Okay, so yoga sanas, I'm talking about physical yoga postures. You have to stretch, only you get the opportunity to nicely stretch your muscles and release that tension. And then you are ready for the next day activity. That is point number one, why you should include yoga. The second thing is, only in the yoga class you get an opportunity to close your eyes and look inside, which is what we are forgetting because we are so busy looking outside. Okay, in all other exercise routine also, the focus is on external beauty or external parameters. How am I looking? Am I looking fat? Am I looking slim? In the yoga class, nothing matters. Okay, at the end of the yoga class, you go for meditation, you do pranayam, you do relaxation. That's when you are getting the actual benefit of your physical activity. That's why what I recommend generally is 3 to 4 days of dynamic exercise coupled with 2 to 3 days of yoga, not only yogasanas, not only power yoga, vinyasa yoga, but a routine that is appropriate for your body and your requirement, and which also focuses on pranayam and meditation every day. We cannot miss meditation or pranayam if you are looking for sustainable weight loss, right? So this is what in brief I wanted to tell about move right. Okay, again, keep your questions aside. Let me go to the next point, which is rest right. Now, rest right is extremely important. If your rest right doesn't mean 8 hours, 10 hours, or 6 hours of sleep, hours doesn't matter at all. Based on what food you consume, what activities you do overall in a day, how much time your body is going to recover that reset time is going to be decided. So you cannot, that person needs 8 hours sleep doesn't mean you also need 8 hours sleep. It can vary. But when I say that quality of sleep should go up, means when you wake up next day morning, how are you feeling? Are you feeling fresh? And that is decided by what time you are going to sleep. So if you can manage the time you go to sleep, you are going to wake up next day morning on time, right? So there is something called a circadian rhythm. After sunset, body automatically gets into reset mode and it starts sending the sleep hormones. And at that time, if we start watching our WhatsApp or digital devices, then our sleep, we cannot sleep on time, and then we cannot get up on time. Then the elimination cycle gets affected, right? So sleeping on time, following our body's clock according to the sun cycle is extremely important in the weight loss journey. I know so many people, just because they were eating right 100%, just because they are not sleeping on time, okay, it was not reflecting whatever efforts they were taking in improving their diet. It was not reflecting in their weight because the elimination cycle next day was getting affected. So if you are working in the night shift and if you are trying to lose weight, then the best thing you can do is please change your work times. By 8 p.m., you should stop your work, start your digital detox, go to sleep on time. That should be the priority, which is very, very important. I have mentioned all the reasons on the slides why you should do that and how it affects. Of course, if you're not well rested, the next day you are going to go for that packet of chips, even though you have option of taking a salad. That is how it is going to work. You are going to feel more stressed. Okay, so sleeping on time is extremely important. So I spoke about circadian rhythm and well rested, and we should feel energetic the next day morning. Now, again, here many people are facing challenges in going to sleep on time, and the only reason is because we are exposed to so much of digital devices after sunset. We have made day out of night, right? That's the reason we are not able to sleep. Imagine you are in a place where there is no electricity. How it used to happen in earlier days, right? By 6:37, slowly people used to just slow down all their activities. They will have their dinner, finish it on time by 6:37, and then everyone gets ready to go to sleep. That is how it used to be, and that is what we all should try to follow. You just have to plan properly. Okay, many times people tell me, oh no, I have late night meeting. But then if your priority is that, go for it. But if your priority is health, you manage, you tell your project manager or whoever that I cannot take late night calls. And there are always there is a workaround, but you have to give priority to resting right, or figure out some other way so that you can rest right on time. Okay. So, fine. Any questions here? Actually, we have a few minutes. I can take some questions now instead of keeping all the questions at the end. Let me take some questions. If you have anything, type it in the chat. Can sprouts be cooked? I answered yes. Nashira is asking, can we use cold press oil too? Nashira, you have already done the 21-day program, right? So you know that we don't recommend it, but there are some people who cannot go for oil-free cooking. They cannot cook, okay, and then they get external cooks to cook their food. In that case, cold press oil little bit is perfectly okay. If anybody is, but if you are looking for weight loss, if you are a heart patient, if you have high blood pressure, strictly stay away from oils. We don't need oils. You can have oil with fiber, okay, so that it's not going to create any further complications. So you can have roasted peanut powder, you can have roasted sesame powder, fresh grated coconut, no portion control on fresh grated coconut. It is excellent source of fat if you consume it with fiber. Okay, but if you find that is too extreme a change for you at this point of time, going to oil-free cooking or anything like that, don't worry. You can continue having cold press oil, but totally you have to ration it completely. A family of 4, 500 ml to 700 ml. Because if you are going to consume all other fat sources as well, if you are going to consume dry fruits, and peanuts, sesame, coconut, then you really don't need that extra oil in the form of a saturated oil, right? So, Sorry. Yeah, so I answered about cold press oil. Just wanted to check on right food. Can we add salt and Indian spices or not? You can. I think Anuradha is asking. You can add salt and spices, okay? But if you can make your spices fresh, that is the best way to use spices. Generally, nowadays we go for chole masala, pav bhaji masala. We really don't know from what time they are using. You know, they have made this powder of spices and it has kept it. So if you ask me, all these ready-made spices are just for the taste. If you ask for the nutrition, I don't think any nutrition is left if the expiry date is 6 months or more. If you can make your own spices fresh, that is the best possible way. If not, you can get organic spices as well. Sanvi is asking 500 ml for a family of 3 to 4 per month. Yes, Sanvi, I am assuming here that you are consuming fresh grated coconut, peanuts, sesame seeds, dry fruits, badam, walnuts, all the good fat sources also. If you are consuming all this, on top of that, 500 ml is more than sufficient. If you're not consuming fat with the fiber, okay, then maybe a little more, but understand that when you are consuming fat in the oil form, to make 1 tablespoon of oil from peanuts, you need 1 bowl of peanuts. In the process of making that oil, you are throwing everything out and taking only the fat from peanuts. Peanuts are excellent. You know, with the cover, if you eat peanuts, they are sources, it is a source of so many other vitamins. Okay, but we are just throwing it out and taking only the fat. That's the reason I'm telling. If you are consuming all these good fat, then you don't need more than 500 ml of oil. Generally, people need oil to make dosa. Okay, because it is little tricky to make that oil-free dosa on iron tawa. In that case, it's okay. You can apply some oil. Chetan is asking minimum carbohydrates intake needed daily. Okay, Chetan. So I explained the power plate. Okay, in that 1/4 was coming from grains. Grains are known to be carbohydrate rich food. That doesn't mean you don't get carbohydrates from vegetables, fruits, dals, right? Even that has carbohydrate. But we are just we just feel that grains are carbohydrate rich. So we don't go on counting even carbohydrates in this diet because this is more on whole concept. It is not reductionist approach of, okay, how much carbohydrates, how much proteins, how much fat. There are people who don't eat grains. Okay, there are people who consume only fruits and vegetables and they are completely fine. So that doesn't mean they are not having carbohydrates. They are having carbohydrates, but less percentage. So to answer your question, there is no minimum amount of carbohydrates. If you follow this power plate proportion and at least 2 meals in a day or 1 meal also, many people cooked meal in this proportion, and you are not starving yourself, you are eating full, then your all the nutritional requirements are met. You really don't have to count carbohydrates, and there is no minimum carbohydrate quantity as such. Just continue to follow the power plate cooked meal once a day, at least twice also you can eat. All your nutrients are taken care of. Honey is also considered as animal food. It is because it comes out from honeybee. Honey has a lot of medicinal properties. So if you are using honey as a medicinal food, okay, like for cough and cold, many doctors, Ayurvedic doctors recommend take this medicine in honey, please take it. But don't take honey as sugar replacement. I have another angle to it. You know, honeybees are extremely important for our planet. And number of honeybees are reducing. If honeybees go down, if we consume honey instead of sugar, all of us decide to do that. First of all, we can't get pure honey. Second, there won't be any honeybees left and we won't get our food itself, right? So honey is empty calories. If used as a medicine, perfectly fine. Otherwise, don't go for honey. I will take questions for 3 more minutes. Then I'll finish the presentation. I'll get back to rest of the questions, okay? Let me see. Whole food slide, I will show it, Anuba, at the end of the presentation. Power plate, I'll show. Buffalo milk, good for health. What quantity? So Maunika, in this particular, according to Nature Cure and according to whole food plant-based diet, no milk is needed. Milk from animals is needed. There are excellent alternatives. You can make your own. Coconut milk is the best substitute. Okay, so nutritionally we don't need milk really, because whatever calcium you are getting from that one glass of milk, buffalo, cow, goat, doesn't matter. Same calcium you can get it from sesame seeds. 1 tablespoon of sesame seeds is giving you same calcium, okay, without any antibiotics, hormones, pesticide or fertilizer led fodder that gets into, and cow's growth hormones on top of that, and pus cells. So we are not getting all that if you have just sesame, 1 tablespoon sesame. So if you ask me, buffalo milk, cow's milk is not needed. If 30 years back you would have asked any nutritionist that what should I have for calcium and protein, milk was the answer. Even I used to drink 3 glasses of milk when I crossed 30. But if you ask me now, last 10 to 15 or 20 years, we have got a lot of research saying that we don't need animal products for our nutritional requirements. We are perfectly fine without them because they load our gut and digestion. They have zero fiber. Only animal products have cholesterol. No plants can give you any cholesterol, right? So if you have BP, if you have high cholesterol issues, just by stopping animal products, all that is going to vanish. Okay, so and that's the reason, so many of athletes, the number one athletes in the world who are performing the best, they are on plant-based diet, right? Including Novak Djokovic, Williams sisters, Virat Kohli, you name it, and all the athletes are turning into plant-based diet. They are not deficient of protein, calcium, right? In fact, they are improving their performance. So no is my answer for buffalo milk. Intermittent fasting, this is the last question I'll take, and then I'll cover the fourth pillar. Is intermittent fasting like 16/8 a fad diet? Not at all, Shweta. Intermittent fasting is very scientific, and that's what we used to do, right? By sunset, we will finish our dinner, and only next day morning, maybe after coming from the first term of working in the farm, people used to eat food. So intermittent fasting is based on the time at which sun is out, right? So the average taken to come up with this 8-hour window of intermittent fasting is when sun is out. And when sun is out, our digestion is aided, right? All the research says that if sun is out, our digestion is better. That's the reason they have come up with 12 to 8, because average of the countries they have taken there, 12 to 8 is the time when sun is out. But in being in India, if sun is rising at 6:37 in the morning, we don't have to wait till 12 o'clock. And then people end up having acidity after following intermittent fasting for years. Why? Because the Jatharagni, the fire inside starts burning when sun is up. So when in India, at least you can have your first meal at 9, 10, or whenever you feel really hungry, right? And then you are going to finish it by 5:36, 6:30 or 7 max, because at that time a sunset happens here, right? So intermittent fasting is not a fad diet at all, but sticking to some time like till 12 o'clock, I'm not going to eat, may not give you the correct results. You may end up having other problems if you continue to follow that 12 o'clock rule. If you can listen to your own body, when I get hungry, I'm going to eat food. That's the simplest rule to follow. And then if you have 8-hour window, that automatically falls into 8 to 10 hours of window. You are not going to follow have any side effects of it, right? So Krupa, I stop at your question. I'll start from here. Let me just finish my last bit of the presentation. So Krupa is asking about B12 and D, which I'm going to answer from there, all the questions when I end the presentation, right? So let me share my screen. Okay, so we are done with the rest right component. And then we come to stress, the think right part of it. If you ask me which is the most important part in your weight loss journey or weight gain journey or getting to your optimum weight journey, I would say think right. Because unless you sort it there, unless your thoughts are sorted, you won't be able to continue long run all these things that we are learning. That's the reason people cannot continue it consistently till they reach their goal. Only when you work on thinking right, because so many factors are distracting them to stay on their journey. For example, if they are stressed, okay, they are going to crave for fatty, sugary food. And then it's very difficult to stay away from something that they like, which is completely junk and which is like poison to their body. But they won't be able to stick to it because of the thoughts, because of the stressful thoughts which are running in their mind. If they don't work consistently, if you don't work consistently on your thoughts, how to work on thoughts, right? So let us first understand what is stress. All of us have kind of accepted that stress is part of my life. Everyone is going through stress. And what I have to do is I just have to keep increasing my capacity of taking stress. That is wrong. What is stress? Stress is a response to demanding situation. Now, demanding situation will keep coming, like COVID. All of us, for everyone, each one of us, the last 1 year has been difficult in some or the other way, right? But body knows how to respond. Body has inbuilt function. Body has parasympathetic nervous system and sympathetic nervous system, which knows that when excited, sympathetic turns on, and once that stress or danger is removed, parasympathetic takes over and it relaxes our body, right? So again, I have given this example in all the webinars, but I like it very much. If you are, for example, if you are in a forest and it is night time, it is dark in the forest, and you feel that there is a tiger 100 meters from you, there is a tiger. What will happen? How body reacts to this demanding or stressful situation? Body needs to decide, shall I try to flight or fight response? That means, shall I try to run away from the tiger, or I want to kill the tiger, right? One of the response body chooses in order to kill the tiger or run away from the tiger. So many changes are happening inside. It starts by your eyes become wide open because you want to see clearly in that dark. Is it really tiger? Right? And then all your muscular tone changes. It becomes very tight. Your shoulders get lifted up because you want to run away from it or you want to attack that animal. Right? So muscle tone changes. Now you need a lot of energy in your limbs. You need energy in your arms. You need energy in your legs. And from where are we going to get that energy? By burning a lot of glucose at the site. And to burn that glucose, lot of glucose is released in the blood. Okay, and then it is burnt and then we start sweating. Now, in order to send that blood to the extremities, to the limbs, heart has to beat faster. So what all changes have happened? And when all these things are happening, our digestion has taken a toll because body understands now I can't focus, I can't give my energies to digest food because it is a question of my survival, right? So eyes have become wide open, muscular tone has changed, your body has become tight. Blood pressure has increased, there is a lot of glucose in the blood and digestion has taken a toll. And the other system that takes toll is your reproductive system, because body can't think of reproduction when it is in danger, right? Now all these things happen and you are successful in running away or climbing a tall tree and you are safe from that tiger. Then parasympathetic nervous system kicks in and slowly all these changes come down. Okay, so digestion starts, reproductive hormones start secreting, your blood pressure is normal, your sugar is normal, your muscle tone is relaxed. Just imagine that you are with that tiger in a closed cage for 1 day, weeks, years. What is going to happen? Body is not going to get a chance to relax, to kick the parasympathetic system, right? And always all these parameters are going to be high. So if you come out of that cage after a week or month or year, there are high chances of you having some or the other permanent changes in your body. Permanent means manifested as physical problems. Either you will have diabetes or you will have blood pressure or you will have hormonal imbalance or weight gain or weight loss because digestion has gone for a toss, right? And reproductive organs also go through imbalance. So stress, the response of our body to stressful situation is very important, and that's the reason we have to give consistent regular rest to our body even in a busy day. That's how beautifully Nature Cure has designed the practices. Many of you have attended the 21-day challenge. in this group, right? So you have learned that how we have designed these practices to take a break at regular intervals. That's the reason we do pranayam before every meal. That's the reason we do sunbathing. That's the reason we do gratitude and all those practices that we learn in Think Right module. So it's extremely important to pay attention to your thoughts. And there are many tools, many online guided meditations, relaxation techniques, experts available, but you have to take out at least 30 minutes a day to work on your thoughts. Okay, this is the most important part, is think right. When you start thinking right, you are automatically going to eat right, move right, and rest right. Right. So let me see if this is just a yogic representation of our body. Okay, in Taittiriya Upanishad, it's beautifully explained that our body, the sheath. Okay, there are 5 sheaths or 5 layers. Anna means body, the physical body that you can see with your eyes. Pranamaya is your breath. Manomaya is mind. Vijnanamaya is intellect, and Anandamaya is bliss body. And all the imbalance starts at Manomaya level. Then it gets percolated into breath level, breathing becomes shallow, and in the end, it gets percolated into having physical imbalance, including weight gain or weight loss. Right? So that's the importance of think right. Okay, I have so many case studies to share, but I'll just finish my presentation with this one case study. So this lady approached me last year, and she was following egg white diet for almost 18 months, and she had got excellent results. She could lose some 18 kgs. Okay, but at the end of the 18 months, she started having rheumatoid arthritis kind of pain in her fingers. Okay, and then her thyroid readings was imbalanced, and that's when she realized, and she was getting bored of eating egg whites in all types, okay, in all forms. And then when we started with this whole food plant-based diet, you won't believe it took 6 months to show reduction of 100 grams in her weight. 6 months complete. She was following everything. Okay, of course she was under a lot of stress because of whatever was happening, but her body did not show 100 grams loss also for 6 months. But in those 6 months, her rheumatoid arthritis vanished, her thyroid readings came back to normal, and only when all those imbalances were taken care of, then body gave importance to showing loss in her weight. Then within 3 months, she achieved her goal. Why I wanted to tell you this is, there is no formula. If you eat clean for 3 months, can I lose 10 kgs? Okay, or I want to lose 15 kgs in 3 months, give me a diet. I cannot, there is no holistic diet which will tell you that, you eat this and you lose 15 kgs, because we are looking at holistic, sustainable weight loss. If you just go on behind removing, reducing the inches and reducing the weight, you are going to, some or the other thing is going to get hampered because of that. Either your mind will go for a toss, lot of stress related issues will develop, or there will be a lot of other symptoms which will come out after some days. So weight loss is not so simple as eat less calories and you will lose weight. No, it has become more and more complicated in this era where we are running behind so many things, right? So what I would like to say is, the main thing we have to do is slow down at all possible level, and then body will also slowly come back to its optimum weight and all the optimum parameters, right? I will take questions now, or let me just end it. So how I help people in losing weight or in improving their health, more than losing weight or gaining weight, is being a health coach. Every month I conduct these 21-day group coaching challenges where I teach eat right, move right, think right, rest right, with clear cut habits and plan. And there is lot of sorry for that. Okay, and there is a lot of accountability tracking that happens, and it happens in the group. Okay, of course, I do take personal consultations also. So if you have any questions, any doubts in your mind, feel free to get in touch with me, and I'll try to help you in whatever capacity I can. The next batch of 21 day starting on 13th of March, and we still have few slots left. Okay, that is what I wanted to share. So conclusion, don't check your body, check your habits. This is what my mentor keeps saying, and this is what I like the most, because everything lies in our habits. Okay, once we start correcting the habits, the body will automatically fall in place. So lifestyle improvement is the solution if you are looking for weight loss or weight gain. If you want to follow me on social media, Facebook, I have a page, Clean Eating with Sai, YouTube, Clean Eating TV, and Insta, See with Sai, and website, seewithsai.com, where there are lots of recipes, especially if you're looking for whole food plant-based recipes. We have video recipes, text recipes, lots of cooking workshops that happen every month, along with other programs. So you can go to all these social media handles if you want to explore more. Now now you can ask the questions. Okay, sorry. You have already typed the questions, right? So let me start from the question asked by Krupa. Can you please suggest something for vitamin B12 or vitamin D to avoid deficiency, as in what to, sorry. Okay, as in what to eat. So Krupa, if you ask me, there is hardly any whole plant-based food for vitamin D. Okay, it is found in some particular type of mushrooms, but that's it. Okay, otherwise there is no vitamin D plant-based source. As such, the best possible way to increase vitamin D is sunbathing. And sunbathing is free. If you are in India, we are so fortunate to get sun almost every day, except few months of or winter season. But the positive thing about it is vitamin D stored in the body. So even if you don't get sun for those 3 months in 1 year, you are still safe. You don't need to take any vitamin D supplement. In case it is not possible for you to do sunbathing, then there is no other solution than to take that course of vitamin D. But be careful that, because vitamin D is fat soluble, so you cannot even take it in excess. It is going to have some side effects. So go to the doctor and take only the prescribed course for that short duration, 3 weeks, 3 months, whatever they tell you. And along with that, start with sunbathing so that you don't have to get your vitamin D again in the future, right? For vitamin B12, it is very interesting, see, B12 earlier we used to get, so B12 we get from bacteria, okay, in fresh pond water or in the soil also. And in earlier days, we were in contact with that fresh pond water or vegetables with little bit of soil used to get inside our body. Nowadays, because of our excess hygienic methods, we are cleaning the vegetables 2, 3, 4 times. And after this COVID, though, we are dipping them in all possible chemicals. So all that, those bacteria are lost. And that's the reason the whatever B12 we are born with, slowly it is depleting to such an extent that we have to take supplements. Now, it has nothing to do if you are eating plant-based food or if you are a non-vegetarian or if you are a vegetarian. Every person eating, irrespective of what type of diet they follow, they are B12 deficient. Why? Because all the animal products have B12. Why animal products have B12? Because it is create, what do animals eat? Generally dairy animals, the dairy cows, they eat grass, right? So they are also getting it from grass and they are creating the B12. And then by after consuming animal products also, some people are not able to absorb that B12, right? So if you are B12 deficient, the best way is start with the supplement. They are water soluble. There is no side effect even if you go little overboard, but then start having some raw sprouts. I'm not telling raw sprouts have B12, okay, but the bacteria or that live enzymes help to synthesize the B12 in our body. Especially in nature care circles, it has been proven that by consuming raw sprouts, tender coconut water, and sunbathing and eating complete according to the prescribed plan, you actually don't lose the B12 and you don't have to worry. But living in the city like Bangalore and in the polluted environment, we can't guarantee that we can do all those things. So if found deficient, you can have B12 supplements. But if you ask me, whole food plant-based, there is no direct source of B12. Okay, but we don't have to worry if we are following all the practices prescribed by Nature Cure. Okay, now let me just finish. There are 3 questions. To get rid of fibroid, which is the outside of uterus, do you have any suggestion in changing the food? Yes. So whatever I told you just now for weight loss in my presentation, whole food plant-based diet, fibroid is related to hormonal imbalance. So first thing is stop consuming external hormones. From where are you getting external hormones? From animals. Okay, only animals have external hormones. If you stop having external hormones and if you consume more of fruits and vegetables in its natural form, whatever I have explained just now, it is going to improve your condition. Sanvi, what is the best time to have dinner? Is it okay to have chapati for dinner? So Sanvi, see, understand that dinner, when you go to sleep, we should not be empty stomach. It should be empty stomach means there should not be undigested food in the stomach. That is the only rule. Now, if this is the rule, if you are going to sleep at 10 o'clock, you have, if you are planning to consume chapati, you have to consume it at 7 o'clock, right? Because chapati is going to take 2.5 to 3 hours to get digested. If you are going to sleep at 10 o'clock and if you can have your dinner only at 9, then you cannot have chapati. Then you can have only fruits, vegetables, soup, salad, right? Because that will get digested by the time you go to sleep. So based on your sleep time and based on your dinner time, you can choose. But there is nothing wrong in chapati for dinner. Just make sure that you are having enough time gap to digest that. And wheat is fine perfectly. Only some people have started showing the sign of gluten sensitivity. It need not be very severe like celiac disease, but many people have rashes on the screen, then a stuffy nose in the morning and all that. And if you just stop gluten, which is there in wheat and barley for 7 days, if you're gluten sensitive, you will automatically understand that all those symptoms are vanishing. Right? In that case, you have to stay away from wheat, otherwise no. Could you please let us know where we can get recipes for? Yes, Anuradha, go to my website, cewebsite.com. Under blog section, there is a recipe section. And in that recipe section, you will find all the recipes. All the recipes are oil-free, sugar-free, dairy-free completely. You get soup, salad, desserts, main course, rice dishes, chapatis, salads, everything there. Okay. Or, I mean, this is just one of the source, my website. Otherwise, just search whole food plant-based recipes on Google and you will get tons of recipes there. Then we have rice for dinner. Anuradha, again, I think what I answered to Sandy. Okay, rice, unpolished rice. And when you consume that rice, make sure that you have enough gap so that rice is digested before you go to sleep. Unpolished rice you can have, of course. Zai, iron is there in everything. All the greens, pomegranate, dates, all the green leafy vegetables are full of iron, right? So there is no question of having iron deficiency in plant-based diet. If you follow what we have learned in 21 days, the power plate and fruit breakfast and veggie meal, you are sorted for iron, right? Many times iron is not getting absorbed if you are consuming caffeine, if you are consuming excess salt or even excess calcium. Okay, that is the reason you may be consuming iron, but it is not getting absorbed. So if you adjust your meal according to the rules, you should be fine with your iron. Should we follow this diet for children as well? I'm not looking for weight loss for my child. Yes, Monica. So, okay, so this is not actually a weight loss diet. This is improving your health, and weight loss is a byproduct of eating clean. Weight loss is not a goal, it is a byproduct. If you consistently eat clean, you are going to experience optimum weight. If you are less in weight, you are going underweight, you are going to gain. If you are overweight, you are going to lose. So for children also, this is This is what we should feed our children. If we, because see, what our children eat today is going to decide their tomorrow, right? What serving them tomorrow for breakfast, that is directly going to show the effect on how they perceive things and how they move around. So this diet is perfectly okay for all the age groups, and they are not going to go for weight loss. But children will tend to eat more food in quantity, and of course there is no quantity control, so we should give them more food. That's the, don't stop them from eating bananas or mangoes or sweet potatoes or cashews, or of course dry fruits, be little we should have some control, but otherwise they will not stick to 3 meals, right? Because kids burn a lot of calories, so they may eat 6 or 8 times in a day, and we should be able to provide them that healthy snacks or healthy food. But it's perfectly, the same diet can be followed by children as well. Okay, so varicose veins, again, there is no different diet as such for varicose veins. Maybe you focus on some yoga exercises along with the diet that we discussed. Okay, there are some excellent exercises as a therapy if you can do those yoga postures, and with along with this diet that I explained, that will give you better and fast results. Thank you, Arul. Oh, thank you. Thanks to know that you are reading the blog as well. Thank you, Anuradha. Thank you, Monica. Yes, we still have few minutes in case. Okay, someone wanted to see the power plate picture, right? Let me just share that. And you can also unmute and ask, okay, if you feel that it's difficult to type. Where is the power plate? Sorry. Yeah, here you go. Thank you, Mekhla. Okay, so here is the power plate picture. So Tony, see, if you are insulin resistant or not, generally if you have type 2 diabetes, I'm talking about general majority of the cases. If a person has type 2 diabetes detected early, okay, then generally by reducing the insulin resistance, I mean by removing the animal products and eating more, increasing the fiber, the diabetes medication reduces, right? So I am not sure whether there is a different test. Okay, wait. No, I'm not sure at this point of time where there is a test for checking whether you have insulin resistance or not. But people with diabetes, there are two reasons, right? Either insulin resistance, I mean insulin resistance, and on top of that, pancreas are not creating enough insulin. So if you work with this approach, the diabetes medication will reduce. I mean, the demand on insulin, either demand on insulin goes down or insulin resistance reduces. So I'm not sure whether you can get it tested, but I will check and let you know if there is any such test. Generally, people who have diabetes and who are overweight, okay, there are high chances that they have insulin resistance as well as inefficient pancreas. Yeah, thank you. Okay, Anubha is asking, can you please share the percentage breakup of 4 categories in power plate? How much in each meal? So Anubha, percentage breakup is approximately 1 katori of rice is if you are going to have 1 katori of unpolished rice, then 1 katori of legumes or dals, sprouted if possible, 1 katori of raw salad, 1 katori of steamed vegetables, whatever spices you want to make. So 1:1:1:1 is the proportion. Now, after consuming that one plate in 1:1:1:1, if you still feel hungry, okay, then if you decide to take half a katori of rice, you have to make sure that you are taking half a katori of dal, half a katori of steamed veggie, half a katori of cooked veggie. You cannot just go on increasing, taking more grains. Okay, so did I answer your question? It is 1:1:1:1. And again, as you go on fine tuning this diet, then you will not eat your raw vegetables for cooked with cooked meal. Then you will consume raw vegetables separately. Fruits are anyway not part of this cooked meal because we generally consume fruits as one meal itself. So generally we have fruits as breakfast or any other meal. So they are not part of this. So it is 1:1. So Shruti, you are asking about lymphoma. So maybe we can take it offline because I have to understand many other things also. But diet wise, if you are asking, then these are the suggestions. These are universal lifestyle change that you can make irrespective of the problem. But if you want to discuss with me specific suggestions for lymphoma, I need to know the history. Okay, like what all has been done with the body till now, and then how we can slowly work on improving all the conditions. But if you ask for diet, it is the same. Maybe you can increase raw component more, again depending on the digestive capacity of a person, right? We have to slowly train the body, because if we go on consuming a lot of raw food immediately, then body may throw up some unpleasant detox symptoms which we don't want to go through. So we have to take it slowly. Yeah, I think I answered your question, Shruti. Thank you. Yes, Kiran is asking what kind of breakfast should be eaten. As South Indians, we eat a lot of idli, dosa, upma with oil. Not only South Indian, Kiran, even in North India, we eat a lot of paratha and what all, right? So ideally, if you are consuming breakfast before 11 o'clock, understand that our elimination cycle is on, and beginning of the day, we don't want to feel sluggish, right? Like you will eat everything with oil, paratha, dosa, idli, and then you will feel like I want to take a nap. My brain is not working. That happens because cooked food really drags our energy down. But how we want to start our day, our morning should be fresh and energetic because we want to finish a lot of work, right? So the best possible way to start your day is fruits. Why? Because fruits are going to take very less time to digest the food. They are not going to be high. They are not going to take toll on the energy. And on top of that, we are going to get a lot of nutrition. So to start with, you may not be able to have fruit breakfast. So you can go gradually, have first fruits, and then when you feel hungry, have little of breakfast, your cooked breakfast. But don't do it with oil. Like idlis, you can make. Of course, in idlis, you don't use oil, right? So you can eat more of idlis, but no white rice idli, red rice. Your idli should never be white in color. It can be black if you use whole urad. It can be green if you use moong dal. It can be red if you are using red unpolished rice or ragi, right? So make sure you are adding fiber to whatever you consume as breakfast. It can be cooked food also, but less of oil and more of fiber and vegetables. Because breakfast is also power plate because it is cooked. So make sure you are having nice coconut chutney and lots of veggies in your sambar. But start with a fruit. That will be a good start for you. Okay, start your day with a fruit, and then how much ever hunger you feel you have, you can have your idli dosa accordingly. Thank you, Sneha. Okay, sorry, Monica. I think I missed your question. I want to know if there is any way to reduce tummy fat, mainly from non-alcoholic fatty liver. Yes, Monica. You can, of course, your fatty liver condition is going to go down if you switch to this diet. For sure. There is no, so many of internal organs nowadays become fatty. In fact, pancreas, why insulin resistance happens is there is excess fat inside the body cells. So insulin is not able to put the glucose in. So in the intracellular fat is the reason for having diabetes. So there is fat everywhere. As you mentioned, non-alcoholic fatty liver also is going to change when you switch to whole food plant-based diet. And on top of that, if you don't have any surgeries, any history of surgery or back pain, then you have to really work on your core building workout. Both fatty liver condition should reduce, and at the same time, you couple it with some core workout. It can be done even in the yoga class, but core workout and consistent core workout. Okay, I don't know how, if fatty liver is the only cause of this problem, then of course it is going to get sorted with the diet and exercise. But some ladies, they ask me that after C-section, after delivering two babies through C-section, we experience that sagginess in the belly, right? That is because we are losing the tone of the muscle. The muscle tone has gone, and then it is very difficult to get that tone again unless we very consistently and regularly do core workout along with the clean eating that I explained. Right, Monica, did I answer your question? Okay, thank you. Thank you, Anubha. Thank you, Sanvi. So if there are no more questions, I would like, we can end this presentation. Anyways, I'm there on Pharmizen Clean Eating with Sai channel. So if you have any such questions, please keep asking me there and I will answer for sure. Thank you, Jayalakshmi. Good to have you again. Thank you, Shweta. Thanks, Nashira. Thank you, Rupa. Thank you, Ashwini, Kavita, Tony, thank you.
Shall we end the session?
Yes, sure, Prashant.
Okay, thank you. Thanks, Sai. Thanks to everyone for joining in.